Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Trey Kearney Show. And I'm your favorite relationship expert, Trey Kearney. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful hump day. We're going to have a serious conversation about infidelity. If you don't know me, my name is Trey Kearney. I'm a certified life and relationship coach. I'm your favorite relationship expert. My backstory comes from a backstory of infidelity and trauma from infidelity, and me being the one who committed adultery. So I share from this. When I talk about this thing, it's very personal to me, but I'm separated from it, and I help men, women, and families heal from the devastation of infidelity. And I talk often about the trickle down of infidelity and how it affects families and how it affects communities and how it affects legacy and all of these things that people don't think about when it comes to infidelity, how devastating it actually is. So I got on my platform many, many years ago, maybe 13 years ago, speaking about my story about infidelity and adultery and how families were ripped apart, four families were ripped apart from the devastation of a bad choice on my part. And I own it and I'm accountable. And I want to say I'm coming from a place tonight of non judgment. I am never judging anybody. I'm not judging you. I used to be you, most of you. I'm not judging you. I used to be you. We have all fallen short of the mark. We have all sinned. We have all done things we shouldn't have did. So I'm going to be talking about Danae Jackson, the wife of Derek Jackson, the social media influencer who is a relationship expert, or I don't know what you want to call him. I'm not going to call anybody any names, but he really panders to women. Basically, he tells women what they want to hear. Let's be honest. I'm gonna be honest tonight. He tells women what they want to hear. So welcome. Let me know where you're tuned in from. You are tuned into the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. Please go subscribe, hit the notification button. If you would like to advertise with us, please send an email to info@treykearney.com. You are tuned into the New You Nation Network. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. So I'm here every Wednesday night on the Trey Kearney Show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's get into this, right? So Danae Jackson is the wife of Derek Jackson, again, who is a social media influencer who caters to women, who tells women what they want to hear. And she came out not too long ago and did her first interview about their relationship and all the cheating that he did. And so many people inboxed me because this is what I do. I talk about relationships. I've helped countless families heal through the devastation of infidelity. I've helped countless women heal through the devastation of infidelity. I've helped countless men heal through the devastation of infidelity because lo and behold, women cheat too. So there's a lot of men. I have a book called Men Hurt Too. And I have another book that I wrote many years ago called It's Healing Time, Restoring Hope in Women After Infidelity, where I share my story and I explain to women what happened in my instance, and that to help wives, girlfriends, fiancés who have dealt with a side chick understand that it had nothing to do with them, right? That was my main purpose of the book, to help women who had dealt with the devastation of infidelity to heal by letting them know that a person who cheated on them, it really had nothing to do with them. It was their decision. And then to go into some other things. So let's talk about Danae Jackson. So she came on a platform and she explained her situation to everybody. And the first time she came out, she was in a bonnet on social media with Derek, and they were working on their marriage. And everybody thought she was crazy. I did not put a video up many last year when they did that video, and I told people, don't rip her apart. You just don't know what it feels like to go through the devastation of infidelity, and you just don't know how hard it is to let a person go that you love and you're dependent on, and you're expecting them to change and all these other good things. However, she came out and told her story. So I just have to talk a little bit about her story. She says she met him when she was in college at 19, I believe. And I watched both parts of the interview so that I could figure out what everybody was talking about. Because everybody goes, did you see the Danae Jackson interview? Did you see the Danae Jackson interview on the Dear Wifey podcast? Did you see the interview? Sending me links and everything. So I watched it. And from the time that she was with this man, he was a cheater. So the title of tonight is Are Women Their Own Worst Nightmare? And I want to talk about this from a different angle. I am not going to rip Danae Jackson apart because I've been Danae Jackson. And let's talk about this first. There is a such thing as people addiction, right? There's a such thing as being addicted to a man or a woman, and I don't know if you know that, right? So I'm speaking for to her because I know how it feels to be addicted to a man, right? For many reasons, I know how it feels to be addicted to a man. For whether it's because you're looking for your father because your father wasn't in your life, you're addicted to the sex. I know how it feels to be addicted to a man. You're addicted to the highs and the lows, how he makes you feel, when you're arguing and then he comes back and he picks you and oh my God, I'm the princess and nobody else matters. It's just me, that high. And then again, you go to that crashing low when he cheats again, only to stay there and say, pick me, please pick me. What's wrong with me? Why are you doing this to me? I love you. I'm your everything and your all, to get that high again when he picks up the phone. And then when he leaves you, and comes back, you get that high again. So I get it, Danae. I'm not going to rip her apart. I am going to say that as women who are listening now, if you are in a situation with a man and you know what's going on, because we live in a very different world than when she first met Derek, right? There wasn't this much social media when she met him. It was just starting to ramp up. But we live in a society now where you know things. And I'm just encouraging women. Don't make excuses for a man who's doing you dirty. Pick yourself. Let me say this. Pick yourself. Pick you. And please do the work on you. We all know what we've been through as children. All of us know. We've all known what our childhood included. We've all known if our father wasn't in our life. We all know if our mother was abusive. We all know if we've been touched. We all know what we've been through. So we have to be accountable for the fact that nobody is responsible. We are not responsible for what somebody did to us. We are not responsible for the person who hurt us, broke us, or did anything to us, but we are responsible for our healing. And we are responsible for the choices that we make from what has happened to us, right? So we have to hold each other accountable because blame causes guilt, accountability causes growth. There were some key things that she said that, her and the girls used to walk past each other on the steps. Now, that's mind blowing to me. I'm gonna say I've been in Danae's shoes, but I ain't never walked past no another woman. I ain't never was that deep into it. But I understand when you are damaged and you want what you want and you want that high. And this is why I'm talking about being addicted to a man. So I'm a transition a little bit over to women. We are our own worst nightmare. We are, because in this equation of Derek Jackson, there are many women who was messing with him who knew that this man was married. And I'm saying this because this needs to be said amongst us as women, that we are causing each other more damage than any men ever could. And I have to say this because the women who knew that he was with this young lady and the women who knew after he decided to get married to her and decided to sleep with him, they need to go check themselves. And I'm just saying, as women, we are so messy right now. And this is why so many of us are suffering. We are suffering at the hands of each other. We are exterminating families. Women, I'm talking from a different angle. I'm going to get back to Danae and I'm going to ask a few questions about what I think she should be asking herself moving forward. However, I want to talk to us as women. Are we our own worst nightmare? Are we the weapon formed against us that shall prosper? Yes, we are. We are messy. We have no consideration for each other when it comes to men. We go across the board talking about we are the highest, most educated, opening the most entrepreneurs, the most degrees, salary increases, making more money than our men. And we are so trifling in this area. We are the most trifling in this area of sleeping with each other's men. And then we have the nerve to say this, and I'm going to say this in respect to Danae. Y'all disrespected that woman's marriage as much as she is accountable for the decisions that she made. Us as women got to do better. Y'all knew that man was married. Y'all knew that man was married. Y'all knew that and y'all still was sleeping with him. And to this day, right now, this is the problem. We the problem, ladies. And I'm saying this, and I'm saying, and some of y'all gonna give me pushback, and some of y'all gonna be so mad at me for saying this, but I really don't care. I have a movement called hashtag no side chicken. Hashtag no side chicken, where I encourage women to honor God and respect each other's relationships in hopes of ending the infidelity epidemic, because it is an epidemic, because women are willing to sleep with somebody's man and open up their big trap to say, I don't owe that woman nothing. You are a bitter woman if that comes out of your mouth to say that you don't owe another woman respect. You don't respect yourself. And they have to say, am I my sister's keeper? You are a woman. You are not supposed to operate the way that we're not supposed. And I'm not going to say we, because it's not me anymore. Because I'm going to remove myself from the equation, because it's not me anymore. And I operated in that frequency for a long time. Not that I didn't feel the need to consider another woman's feelings. I was just more considering my own feelings. I'm not in that space anymore. So I'm going to say this plain and clear. I'm not judging you because I used to be you so I could talk about this. It's not from a place of judgment. It's from a place of wisdom and knowledge that what you're doing as a woman sleeping with somebody else's husband is destroying a family, is destroying community, is destroying legacy, is destroying us as Black men and women. That's what we're doing. Outright openly having shows about side chicks who are outright openly glorifying themselves to be sleeping with somebody else's man is just simply trifling. And for men to be promoting it is even more trifling, because y'all supposed to be the leaders. But we're going to get back to that in a minute. We're going to get back to that in a minute. Let me just reel myself in. If you just tuned in, my name is Trey Kearney, and you're tuned into the Trey Kearney Show. I'm your favorite relationship expert, and I'm here to give it to you straight, no chaser, because we need to fix some things as Black women. We need to fix some things today. And I'm trying to tell you that we are a big part of the infidelity problem, sisters. And I call y'all sisters, and some of y'all loosely, because ain't nobody got time for that. I call y'all sisters loosely, because you put on a farce in the front. You're fake. You're out here selling Girl Scout cookies. You're out here on all these platforms being women empowerment speakers. You're out here talking about, I'm this little girl's mentor, and you go and sleep with somebody's man and then say it's not your problem. It's all of our problem. If one of us will do it, it is all of our problem, because it is a trickle down to the community. You are hurting children. And I have to say this. Cheating is a form of abuse. And if you are knowingly sleeping with somebody's husband, boyfriend, or fiance, you're an abuser. And if children are involved, you're a child abuser. He is too, but you are too. I'm going to say that again. And I says, if you sleeping with somebody, if you are knowingly sleeping with somebody's husband, boyfriend, or fiance, if you are knowingly sleeping with somebody's man, don't tell me nothing about he not married. You still trifling. And I got to say this to us. I got to say this to us. And who you around? Let's talk about that. Let me get back to Danae Jackson. So I just want to talk about a few things that I learned from her interview to pass on to other women. Stop wanting to be picked by a man. That is not the end all be all. That stop wanting to be picked by a man. Go get healed. Go do yourself a favor, whatever trauma that you've been through. And I'm never negating anybody's trauma. I'm never downplaying anything that woman been through, because she's been through some things. I watched her interview and I've never experienced what she experienced. But you got to go get some help, because if you don't get help, you're going to make bad decisions. You're going to make bad choices. And I have to say this, as adults, you are where you are based on your choices. Even though we were traumatized, I've been traumatized too, and I'm gonna say that, but I have not been to the extent of somebody violating me sexually, and she was. So I'm not even gonna downplay that, because I can't even imagine going through somebody forcing themselves on you and taking advantage of you, and you're yelling and nobody's helping you. I can't imagine the trauma of that. But it is our responsibility to get the help that we need. It is our responsibility, or we will continue to make bad choices based on the environment we grew up in, the circumstances that happened to us, we will make excuses for ourselves. Well, my father wasn't in my life. My father wasn't in my life either. Oh, my mother was an alcoholic. My somebody did this to me. We have to take accountability of the things that we know that we have experienced so we don't continue to be taken advantage of by anybody. Right? So one of the things I learned is that this woman wanted to be picked. Pick me, pick me, pick me. She talked about how she felt she wasn't the most attractive in college, and she had bumps on her face. And here comes the knight in shining armor, and he picked her. If you don't love yourself, ladies, if you don't love yourself, the worst piece of a man, and I just have to say this, will trick you into thinking that you want a prize when you're the prize. Beauty is not on the outside. Beauty is what's inside of you. I don't care about bumps on your face. I don't care about what your hair look like. I don't care about what your weight is. But if you are not whole and healed and secure, a man will come and smell the insecurity on you. And he will take advantage of your intellect, because this is what Derek Jackson did from my perspective. He took advantage of her intellect. He took advantage of her spirit. He saw a nice woman. He saw a woman who was smart, intelligent, and was going places. And he knew that he could do whatever he wanted to this woman because of the vulnerable state that she was in, because she was not healed. When they listen, men and women smell voids on us. They smell it. They could smell a void. A manipulator can smell a void from a mile away. They can smell a hole in you. So a lot of women ask me, when I'm coaching, they ask me, why can't I let go of this person when a relationship is over, or when they're in a relationship and the man is cheating and they know, why can't I let go of it? And the one thing that I teach them is, when you figure out and acknowledge the void that this person is filling, you will begin to heal that void. And when that void is filled, this person will no longer have space in your life. You ask me how I know. Because I had somebody that was filling voids for me. Ask me how I know. Because when that void is filled, this person will have no space in your life. Whether you're looking for a daddy, whether somebody violating you, looking for a protector, whether you're looking for a daddy for your kids, whether you're looking for a provider because you broke and you ain't got no money and this person paid bills, you will accept things based on your voids. Let me say that again for somebody in the back. You will accept things that you don't deserve from your voids. We don't want to do that no more. We don't want to make excuses for why we're allowing these things. We don't want to make excuses for our behavior. We want to be accountable for what it is that we need to do to heal, so we can be whole when we go into relationships, and we don't need pieces of other people, and we won't be afraid when they leave that they will take a piece of us with them, because when you met me, I was whole. And I'm speaking from a place of experience. I'm not judging anybody. I promise you. The last relationship I was in was a wonderful relationship, and it ended abruptly, and not because I wanted it to, but I was whole when I went into that relationship. So when it was over, he didn't take a piece of me with him. So I was able I was resilient. I was able to bounce back much faster than the relationship that I had before him many years ago, where I was in pieces and I kept going back and kept going back and kept going back and kept going back because I needed him to fill a void. But when that void was filled, I no longer needed him. I no longer was afraid to be on my own because I was whole and healed. So we need to, as women and men, we need to work on ourselves and make sure we are whole and healed before we get into serious relationships. So that's number one. We will be in a place of pick me if we're not whole. Number two, are you the weapon formed against you that will prosper, ladies? Is it you? We got to take accountability for the decisions that we're making. Is it you? You know what this man was doing from the time you were 19 years old. You knew he was a lying, cheater, charmer, snake charmer. You knew he wasn't no good from the time that you met him. So we cannot be the weapon formed against us that's prospering because we want what we want when we want it. Number three, because time is ticking by, and I want to get these points out, what I've learned from her from the Danae Jackson interview. Number three, who's in your corner? This is so important for us as women. Who is in your corner? Who are your friends? Who are your family, your mentors, your advisors, your coaches? Who's in your corner and who is in your corner that will be willing to lose you for a season to save you from yourself? You got to have people in your corner who are willing to tell you the God's honest truth about yourself and not say, I'm just going to mind my business. If you have people in your life and in your corner who will allow you to drive off of a cliff, those people don't love you. Who is in your corner? Because I'm sitting there and I'm listening to her interview and I'm like, well, where's her good girlfriends? And where's her cousins, auntie, mommy? Where are her people out? Who's speaking into her? Right? And I know this part too about some people, and I went through this. When my very best friend told me that, you know what, listen, I'm not doing this with you no more. When I was in my dirt, when I was dirty, down dirty, committing adultery, my best friend was willing to walk away from me and say, you can't bring that dirt to my door. Get your whole entire life together. She was willing to lose me for a season so that I could see myself. So we have to be very mindful of who's in our corner that will say, yo, you're tripping. What are you doing? That will be willing to snatch you up. That will be willing to snatch you up or walk away. So I know that there is a time in our life when we're not listening to anybody. But I would encourage us as girlfriends, as mothers, as aunties, to do as much as we can. To do as much as we can. In the interview, she talked about how when it was time for her to leave and she went to her mother's house and mom wasn't with the games and all of that when she got there. So that's another thing I want us to ask ourselves, who's in our corner? The next thing I learned from her interview, and I got to say this to all of the women because there's a lot of this going around right now. Y'all got to stop letting money and lifestyle be your God. Listening to her talk, she said it was certain perks that she got. When those things start, when money start to move you, it's time to reel it in. You have to not let money, cars, things of that nature be able to make you allow somebody to misuse, abuse, and treat you bad and disrespect you because you could get a Birkin bag. And we have to admit to ourselves, and we have to point this out to her. You were getting the perks, and the perks at some moments was worth more than your self-respect and dignity. That lifestyle, that mansion, them cars, that makeup, that the things that you were getting, them restaurants you was allowed to come into, the things that you were allowed to buy. Don't let those things cloud your judgment as a person. Your morals, values, and characteristics should never be compromised for anything material. So we got to listen when people are talking to say, what will keep a woman there that says she passed by the steps on a man, seeing other women passing by while she was coming out, they was going in? What would make you stay with a man who's staying at a condo in his own place instead of coming home to a mansion? What would make you do these things? And we have to be honest with ourselves to say, these are the benefits that I was getting from this. These are the perks that I was getting that will make me compromise my own body, knowing this man out here sleeping around with other people. And we know that she was having unprotected sex because 2 children were produced. And if I'm going to tell you something about men that be cheating, if I could tell wives, girlfriends, fiancés, anything, men that cheat don't protect themselves because they don't respect themselves. I'm leaving now because I didn't hit a hot 16. Men that cheat don't respect themselves, so they don't protect themselves. And when they don't protect you, when they don't protect themselves, they're not protecting you. Trust me. Let me tell you something about. I know so many women that I coached, and this is just there's just signs. They had so many bacterial infections, and doctors be trying to tell us that bacterial infections don't come. A man can't give you a bacterial infection. If a man brings somebody strange bacteria to your vagina, it's gonna throw your pH balance off. So if you keep getting multiple bacterial infections, I'm gonna ask you to check your mate, because your body gets thrown off by different bacteria because it's not your natural bacteria. So men who cheating, who are not in their right mindset, they not thinking about protecting you. We have children that need us here. There's some things that we can't get rid of. Let's be clear. There's some things that we cannot get rid of. There's a lot of diseases that are going on that you cannot get rid of. So we have to be really mindful of, am I going to compromise my body for a Maserati? I'm on fire tonight. Y'all hear me up here rapping? And I'm not being funny. I'm just telling you, at what cost? My health, and this is for the women that's listening right now, because we cannot change Danae Jackson's past, but we can. I hope she's listening to know that going forward in the future, and every woman that's listening right now, you will compromise your health. And listen, city girl, whatever her name is, you sleeping with Diddy, I hope you using condoms, boo, because he had a whole baby on you, which means men who cheat don't protect themselves. If we're going to call a thing, let's call a thing a thing. Young lady, you got a whole life ahead of you. I hope you're protecting yourself, because you will get something and you won't be able to have no children. And he'll have all the children that he wants. He will mess up your reproductive system. He will mess up your ovaries and your uterus and your fallopian tubes. We got to be mindful of what we are doing to our bodies as women. Women, are we our own worst enemy? We could deal with Derek Jackson later, because we walking up and downstairs passing each other and know what we going for, and we still doing it. We got to look at ourselves in the mirror, and we got to change some things up. We got to take a pledge to say, I will not sleep with somebody else. I will not let a man use me, abuse me, and take advantage of me if he has another woman and I know about her. As a matter of fact, I will not abuse my own body. It says in the Bible that sexual immorality is the only sin that we commit against our own body. Ain't nobody doing nothing to you. That's you. You compromising your well-being. You sinning against your own body. Come on, ladies. We got to do better. We got to do better. And let me tell you something about God. Don't let money become your idol. Don't let things become your idol. Don't let penis become your idol. Don't let no man become your idol. Don't let your world revolve around no man, no thing, because God will take it all away from you. And let me say this. He won't even take it away from you. God gives us free choice to be under his covering. God will never leave us nor forsake us, but he will let us go to our own devices. He will say, here is the manual to live a good life. And she knew the manual, because she came on with the bonnet, speaking the spirits and cursing people. He will give you the manual and say, this is what you don't need to do. If you do these things, the wages of sin is death. And that is death of your finances. That is death of your body. That is death of your mental health. Sometimes people think that, oh, it's a physical death, and it will be a physical death too, because at the end of the day, we all gonna die. But that is the death of all things, all the life that is around you and in you. So as women, we have to do so much better. As women, we have to make better choices to respect these women who are married. And don't tell me nothing about that's the husband's responsibility. No, it's your responsibility too. Because to disrespect this woman's marriage speaks volumes about who you are as women. Okay? And I'm not even judging again, because I've been down that road. I've been down that path. And that's why I speak on these things. Because I could say, I'm not judging you. I used to be you. I slept with somebody's husband. Nothing came out of it but death and destruction. And I'm not talking about nobody physically dying. I'm talking about spirits dying, people's high spirits dying. I'm talking about people's motivation dying. I'm talking about people's livelihood dying. I'm talking about children. Now let's talk about the children. Let's talk about the children. If you just tuned in, you tuned into the Trey Kearney Show on the New You Nation Network. I'm Trey Kearney, your favorite relationship expert. You are here for Straight No Chaser. We having real conversations about relationships, and we're not judging anybody. But the fact of the matter is, we need to start living through accountability again. We need to really start owning our stuff. Everybody. Let's talk about the devastation of the children. Do you know how when mothers and fathers go through infidelity, children go through infidelity. When mothers and fathers go through divorce, children go through divorce. All of this trickles down to the children. Based on your selfishness, your children will be damaged for life. And you know how I know? Because my children got caught in the crossfire of my BS. And they still dealing with the residuals of it, the ash. They will forever deal with what I decided for them. And again, they have to go out and get the help that they need, because we cannot change the past. But moving forward, we can teach other people. Don't do this to your kids. Derek Jackson, honey, your children are going to be affected by your decisions. Danae Jackson, boo, your children are being affected by your decisions. So watch what you do from this point on, even going on shows and lives and doing things in front of them. Make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do to teach them the right things about relationships moving forward, because they are damaged right now. They are damaged, and damaged children become damaged adults. And that's why we have the saying, hurt people hurt people. Damaged people, damaged people. Children who don't get the help that they need remain damaged, and then they have to become adults and try to find it on their own, and they get into a space of they're lost, and it takes a long time, believe me. And from us, from Generation X, baby boomers, our parents damaged us to some degree. It may not have been infidelity, but think about us and how we had to heal from that. We don't want to pass that on to any more children. We don't want to pass it on to any more children. So we have to think about the children. Infidelity destroys children's lives from the time that they are 4 years old. They hear, they see, and they know. Parents think they be hiding stuff. You ain't hiding nothing from them kids. You are not hiding nothing from your children. Your children know exactly what is going on. So we have to make sure that we are considering the children, and we can't keep bringing children into relationships that are not healthy when we know they're not healthy. I love y'all. I love you, Danae. I love you, the ladies from Love and Hip Hop, or whatever that show is, where they was fighting and having babies with Stevie J. These kids got to grow up. Do y'all understand that these kids got to grow up? That this is going to be their real life, when they have to explain, like, hey, where did I come from, and how did this happen? And everything is on the internet. We don't live in the same times as when we were growing up, and we couldn't go find out what our parents did. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. And our kids can't kind of sort of find out what we did, the Generation X and baby boomers, kind of sort of, because the internet, the cloud wasn't out there. But the cloud is out there now. And this stuff does not go away. Do you know that your children will pull things up on their phone and say, look at your mother. Oh, your father was running up and down the stairs, and your mother was going up, and the girls was coming in. We got to be careful how we handle things, because we have children who are going to be affected by our decisions. So we got to be real smart. We got to be real smart. And again, I'm encouraging every woman who has dealt with any type of abuse. I'm encouraging you tonight to not let that become your excuse. And I'm not saying Danae Jackson made an excuse. I'm just saying, do not let it become your excuse. And 5 years from now, you're talking about the trauma that you suffered when you're sitting here watching me. I want you to go get help. I want you to find somebody you can trust, and I want you to go get help. This is what I learned from the Danae Jackson interview. And I'm not blaming her that she's making an excuse that she was sexually violated. I'm saying to the women now who heard her story that that trauma affected her decision making. So now we have the opportunity, if we've dealt with some of that, that we heard her story, that we would use her story to go get the help that we need instead of sitting there and saying, well, so was I. To use her story as a catapult to your healing, to say, oh, aha, that's why I'm with this dude. Aha, that's why I'm moving funny. Now I hear it. Now it's time for me to do something. Not to wait 5 years, 10 years, 6 years, and 2 children later to say, I did not deal with my trauma, and that's why I made these decisions. Now that you've heard my voice, you know better, you got to do better. You know better, you got to do better. Her transparency, and I say this often, truth plus transparency equals healing. Her truth and her transparency can heal some of y'all, can help y'all to get on a journey of healing, because she can't heal y'all, but she can actually help you get on a journey of healing by listening to her say these things, that this is the reason why I made these decisions. So many people who are in the church, and let's talk about this really quickly as far as decisions are being made. So many people are in the church who are in unhealthy marriages because the church tells you to stay. Some of y'all, God did not pick that man for you. You picked him. God did not pick that man for you. If that man is somebody's husband, if that man was somebody's husband and you got him by way of adultery, God ain't picked that man for you. So if you going into church after y'all get it all the way together and the church telling you supposed to fight through this and you supposed to stay married, God didn't pick that man for you. That's somebody else's husband. That's somebody, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some of y'all got somebody else's husband laying in the bed with you, whether you married to him or not. If you got him by way of adultery, if you got him by way of sneaking and cheating, and you sitting up in church and y'all having problems, and the pastor and the preacher and the first ladies and the bishops is telling you to stay with him, God ain't never picked that man from you. God don't send you nobody's husband, and God don't send you nobody's wife. So we got to start learning from people's examples. When somebody comes out, truth plus transparency equals healing. When you hear somebody's story and it resonates with you and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or you're being affected in a way that they were, or you've been sexually violated, and this woman is saying, I made these decisions based on the fact I didn't go handle what I needed to handle. I didn't go get the help that I needed. I suppressed it and it showed up in my decision making. Take that and run with it and go get you a therapist. Take that and run with it and go get you whatever her story helped you with. Because we love to say, it would never be me. It would never be me. Don't ever think that it can never happen to you. Don't ever think that it'll never be you, because you will wake up tomorrow morning and it will be you. I know a lot of women that I was seeing online, a lot of married women that I was seeing online that was tearing Danae apart. Little do you know, and I'm not speaking this over anybody's life, little do you know your husband is a Derek Jackson. Now let's talk about the next part of this. Why women are the problem. This man lied, cheated, mistreated, abused, mentally abused this woman, physically abused this woman. And not because he put his hands on her. He physically abused her because the mental manifests into the physical hurt of her body. Losing weight, losing hair, being sick. He didn't physically put his hands on her, but he mentally and physically abused her because the mental abuse affected her physical body. Sick, stomach ache, gastritis problems, throwing up, can't sleep at night. Teeth getting bad, nails not growing, skin dry, can't eat, can't drink, can't live, can't think. Mentally, it will affect your physical body. This man has done some things to this woman. And again, she is accountable for her part in it because she knew a lot of this. So we're going to hold her accountable for that. But again, people addiction is real. Voids are real. So we're going to hold her accountable for the part that she knew about. And she knew a lot of stuff, and she really needs to do some healing right now. And I hope that she's still in therapy. I hope she's still working on herself. And I hope she pump her brakes and take her time to process through this, because there's a lot that she needs to deal with. So I don't know if she's in therapy. I don't know who she's dealing with. I don't know who she's talking to. But right now, her main objective should be healing physically, mentally, and emotionally, not financially. I know we got to pay our bills, but we should not be focused on money right now, because that is one of the things that got you in the situation. But anyway, the next part of this is, as women, again, there's a woman that's with Derek Jackson right now. That's a problem. There is a woman that is laid up with Derek Jackson right now, who looked at Danae's story and still laid back down with him. This is why I say women are we our own worst enemy. Because who would want to lay next to Derek Jackson right now after hearing her story, knowing that he did not get the help that he needed? An enabling, codependent woman who was insecure. So whoever you are that's laying next to Derek Jackson right now, you need to go get some help. Because it's not him, it's you. Because you know his story, because it's out here in public. But you'll lay next to him and make up excuses. Well, she, her, that no. We talk about him. We already talked. She already shared her experience. We already talked about her. This is the problem. This is why our men don't get help, because they just go find somebody that will deal with the abuse, instead of all of us saying, not here, bro. Not with me. Sorry, not sorry. You need to go get some help. You don't need to be dating nobody. You don't need to be talking to nobody. You need to be on somebody's couch. You need to be going to apologize to that woman and all those other women, because it's not only her. As my mother would say, if you see one rat, it's a million. You need to go and do some soul searching and go tell some women, I apologize for the way that I treated you. You surely ain't about to touch me. You surely ain't about to damage me. But whatever he does from this point on to any woman, it's not him, it's you. Oh, and he need help. But we'll talk about that on another show. But we're talking about women, of how we enable these behaviors of men. To reward him for his poor behavior is not going to lead to good behavior. Boo, your vagina ain't no better than Danae's. Your pretty face ain't no prettier than Danae's. Your hair ain't no better than Danae's. Your life ain't no better than Danae's. Your money ain't no better than Danae's, because that man has a problem. So you thinking that, oh, he gonna change for me because I'm special. You're not special. You're not special. I promise you, you're not special. Not to him. Ain't nobody special to Derek but Derek. Come on, Jesus. Ain't nobody special to Derek but Derek. It wasn't Danae. Danae made some bad choices and allowed some things to go on in her life, but Derek made his choices. So let's be clear on that. Derek made his choices. So shame on us as women that we would lay next to a man who would violate and disrespect not only his wife, but his children. Shame on us. Shame on us as women that we would lay next to a man who has shown himself, who has shown who he is. And let me talk about the next part of this before I go. The women who will still support Derek Jackson and listen to him. What's wrong with us? You know this man is just telling you what you want to hear. He's not even giving you what he does. He's not even living by what he says. He's not even walking the walk. He talking the talk. He ain't walking the walk. He telling you what you want to hear. And y'all, after this man was exposed for cheating on his wife, still got millions of followers. Something's wrong with us as women. We want to feel good. So we'll listen to any pandering man on social media, or any man that walks up to us on the street, whether he got a wife, 2 girlfriends, 5 baby mamas, as long as he say the right thing, we want to hear what we want to hear. We want to feel good from what he's saying. He could be the biggest dog running the street, and then we want to blame him. Y'all still listening to Derek Jackson. Y'all still supporting his ministry. Y'all still buying stuff from him. Y'all got to be kidding me, because women want to hear what they want to hear. It could come from Lucifer himself. Lucifer could be sitting online with the horns and a red suit and a pitchfork. And as long as he's saying men are wrong and men should be doing this and men should be doing that and you deserve this, and y'all will listen to Lucifer himself. Shame on us as women for enabling these men to treat other sisters bad. Shame on us. Shame on us that somebody would actually be sleeping next to Derek Jackson or dating Derek Jackson or talking to Derek Jackson or entertaining him in any way, unless he isn't there. I'm not saying that the man should be alone for the rest of his life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he needs to get some help. But he'll never get help because one of us will be willing to enable him. One of us will be willing to lay with him. A lot of our men, and as women, I'm holding us accountable for the things that we asking for better men, but we're rewarding them for their poor behavior. We can't ask for better men and reward them for their poor behavior. That's not how this works. There has to be consequences to a person's actions. Consequences causes change. As long as there's no consequences, a person will never change because they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. Because clearly they're being rewarded for their poor behavior. And any woman who is listening to anything Derek Jackson got to say, I got to say to you, go get therapy. Go check your head. Not only go check your head, but go check your heart. Because something's not right if you are listening to any man giving you advice who dogged out his wife and his children. The Bible says a man that does not take care of his family is worse than an unbeliever. Oh, do y'all hear what I'm saying to y'all? The Bible says a man that does not take care of his family is worse than an unbeliever. I'm not trying to be next to anybody worse than an unbeliever. Oh, no. Oh, no. So if you just tuned in, you're tuned into the Trey Kearney Show. I'm Trey Kearney. You are tuned into the New You Nation Network. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, New You Nation Network YouTube channel. If you would like to advertise with us, please send an email to info@treykearney.com, info@treykearney.com. You can find me at www.treykearney.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at Trey Kearney. So please go to the YouTube channel. You leave your comments, review all the other shows that are on there. Let me know if you like it. New You Nation Network is for Generation X. The content is created by Generation X and geared toward Generation X. We over there doing grown and sexy. There's no twerking, no cursing, and all of this other stuff that's going on these streaming platforms that the young folks want to do. If you want to have some serious, clean fun, and trust me, we have fun. We just don't be doing all the craziness because we too old for that. We too mature for that. We're not doing cheating and lying and all the. No, we're not doing these things. So tonight we were talking about, are women their worst? Are we our worst enemies? Are we the weapon formed against us that's prospering? And my answer to that is yes. We are destroying marriages through infidelity. Women. We are exterminating each other's families by knowingly sleeping with each other's husbands, boyfriends, fiancés. We're doing it to ourselves, and we have the power to turn this thing around by simply saying no to somebody else's man. You are not a boss if you're sleeping with somebody's boyfriend, husband, fiance. If you sleep with somebody, man, you're not a boss. You're not a diva. You're not doing good, honey. If you're sleeping with somebody else's man, you are none of the things that you are calling yourself. You are not in a good headspace. And I need us as women to go get the help that we deserve. But we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and a lot of us are running around hurting other people because somebody did it to me. Somebody did it to me. So you're going to do it to somebody else? Go get your whole entire life together. Please and thank you. Go get your whole entire life together. And any woman who was outright proud to be a side chick, I'm gonna tell you, you ain't no good. Right now. And let me rephrase that. I never want to say nobody is no good. You are in a no good phase of your life. You ain't no good to yourself right now. If you're knowingly sleeping with somebody's husband, let's just talk about husbands right now, real quick. If you are knowingly sleeping with somebody's husband, you are in a no good phase in your life, and you are no good to anybody, and you're no good to yourself. And if children are involved, you really need to wake up. And let me say one more thing. What you think, what you say, and what you do is a boomerang that's coming back to find you. What you think, what you say, and what you do is a boomerang that's coming back to find you. Always understand, no matter how good it feels right now, there will be consequences to your actions. You will reap what you sow. If you reap sweet fruit, you will sow. If you sow sweet fruit, you will reap good fruit. If you sow bitter fruit, you will reap bitter fruit. You are going to get what you give. And again, I tell you all the time, right now I feel good. But when that season comes, when that reaper comes, the grim reaper, when he comes knocking on your door, don't start saying I'm sorry now. Listen, my mother always says this, and this is what I want to tell y'all, because I always want to leave y'all with a way to heal. I always want to leave y'all with a good message. My mother always said, it is never too late to make a U-turn. It is never too late to do the right thing. Right now is the right time to do the right thing. I just want to say, let's pray for any woman or any man, because women cheat too. Like I said, I got here by way of committing adultery, so I'm never judging anybody. Let's pray for any family who's going through the devastation of infidelity right now, because it is a horrible, horrible thing for the whole family. And I'm not just talking about the immediate family. I'm not just talking about the husband and the wife and the children. I'm talking about, it's a horrible thing for the mother, the husband, the wife, the wife's mother and father, the wife's brothers and sisters, the husband's brothers and sisters, because we have meshed families together. So when they get ripped apart, it rips apart the whole family. It's a horrible trickle down that people don't think about. They think it's just two people that had a problem, and it affects everybody. And God forbid, like my case, I was with a married man, so it affected 4 families. It was a devastating, terrible trickle down that some people did not bounce back from. Everybody's not resilient. There are people out here, and I'm saying this because I'm so serious about this, and I'm glad Danae is okay. There are people out here who harm themselves. There are people out here who commit suicide. There are children. I had a woman who's still a very good friend of mine now, who was going to take her own life when her husband left her with her 5 daughters, and didn't look back, and left them with no money, and took all the money out of the account. The children ended up in the psych ward. The children were cutting themselves. I have many families that I talk to where the children are doing self-harm. Children will blame themselves. Children will blame themselves for what the parents are going through. We got to be so careful that people have to really understand the devastation of infidelity and adultery. We really have to take this seriously, that people's lives are damaged beyond repair. And we're not even talking about the husband and the wife. We're talking about children's lives are damaged beyond repair. Mothers and fathers' lives are damaged beyond repairs. Wives are damaged beyond repair. They can't even go love somebody again. Husbands can't even go love somebody wholeheartedly again, because their trust muscle has been broken. They don't even know how to love anymore. So many people say, I'm never going to get married again. And I have to say to those people that say that, please don't do that to yourself because of what one person did to you. You deserve to be loved the proper way. Don't let what one person did to you destroy what God has for you. I know it hurt. I know you feel betrayed. I know, just go do the work on yourself, right? And when you go do the work on yourself and you're whole, when people show you who they are, you're able to walk away because they're not taking pieces with them. When you go into relationships and you have voids, and I'm not only talking about romantic relationships, I'm talking about relationships with friends, your good girlfriends, your family. When you have voids, you stay way too long because those people are filling voids. And when they pull apart from you, it feels like they pulled the plug and it's draining you, or they took a piece, they took a piece of your happiness. You got to be whole in life. You got to be whole in life. People are going to walk away. People are going to die. Things are going to happen. People are going to stop speaking to you. People are going to stop loving you. And if you are whole, you are not prepared for it. You will be devastated. And some people, again, don't bounce back from the devastation of the loss. And again, and for Danae, I really hope that she is in some serious counseling, because a breakup is the death of a relationship. And it's just like really physically losing somebody, except the hard part about it is they've decided to take access away from you when you still love them. And so many people are stuck in a phase of grief. And this is what I teach in my coaching, right? A lot of people can't get past healing. And this is what I teach. The reason why they can't get past healing is because they're stuck in a phase of grief. And what I do with them is we work through to find out what stage of grief are you stuck in. Some are stuck in denial, some are stuck in anger, some are stuck in depression, some are stuck in bargaining with God. Please, if you just bring him back, and they having these fantasies and they're fantasizing about he's gonna come and leave that woman and be the knight in shining armor and come like a LL Cool J song in a limousine with flowers. So they're stuck. And we don't want to be stuck in a phase of grief. Now, a breakup is the death of a relationship, and you are going to go through the phases of grief, or you are going to go through the stages of grief. You really are. But you really have to get the help that you need so that you don't get stuck in one, and that you don't stay too long in any of them or all of them. Because the ultimate thing to get to is acceptance. Accepting the fact that it's over. Accepting the fact that it's over, that this is no longer happening to you. Accepting that you've decided to move on. In my program, when I teach, when people go through infidelity, some people stay together, right? And a couple of, some of the couples that I worked with, they stayed together. And I had to work with the wife, right? Let me just tell you all this little piece, and then I'm gonna go because it's almost 9 and the show is over. So infidelity, you can stay with your partner. You really can. You can work it out, and your marriage can be better than it was. Because infidelity is a symptom of a bigger problem, but we'll talk about that another time. But I had to talk to the wives about acceptance, the ones who decided to stay. And we did coaching with the couple, with the husband, and they decided to stay. And the husband said, I'm not doing this anymore. I've decided to stay with you. This is what happened. And we worked through it. And I had to go work with the wives to say, you have to accept the fact that the affair is over. And when people decide to go their separate ways, they have to accept the fact that the relationship is over. So the ultimate goal is to get to acceptance, accepting the fact that it's over, right? Accepting the fact that the affair is over. Your husband's not with her anymore. And every time you bring it up, you remind him of her when he has decided to stay with you. And if you can't accept the fact that it's over, you need to release him, and you need to release yourself, right? And on the other hand, when a person decides to leave, you have to accept the fact that the relationship is over. You have to take steps of block, delete. You know what I'm saying? You can't call, no bickering back and forth. And then we go through those phases. But I just want to say I'm praying for Danae Jackson. I'm praying that God would guide her and heal her. I'm praying that he would keep her in a state of healing with people around her who are good counsel, because there are a lot of sharks in the water when it comes to this, because now she is a person of some sort of influence because of who she was with and how this all panned out. So the sharks will come in the water and they will hitch their wagon to her star. And instead of them encouraging her to heal, they will throw her out to get the attention, to get that lifestyle and all those other things. And her main focus should be to remain focused on the healing of her and her children right now. Nothing else should be important to her right now. And I'm just saying that as a relationship expert, as a certified relationship coach. I'm a certified life and relationship coach. And not only am I a certified life and relationship coach, I have had the experience of what infidelity does. And if you don't get yourself right, your choices will not be right. And you will be, I always say this, you are where you are based on your choices. You do not want to go back in this world having holes in you. You do not want to go in this world having voids in you, because the world will eat you up. So I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Oh my God, if this was good for you, please go to the New You Nation Network YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Please leave comments. Please share. Tell your friends and family to subscribe. I'll be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate every person who tunes in on Wednesdays. Jermaine was good tonight, so that was excellent. So love y'all. Remember what I tell you at the end of all my broadcasts. You deserve the best. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve the best. Now go get it. Peace and blessings. I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Trey Kearney Show on the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. Peace.